Dorian Yates talks importance of seated cable rows. They were a staple in my selection for back days. Dorian Yates often used seated cable rows to build his legendary back. Dorian Yates built one of the greatest physiques of all time, and the results showed on stage during the prime of his career. He became known for the insane size in his back, and seated cable rows were a major part of his routine. On Instagram, Yates explained the importance of the exercise to build back. Seated cable rows were another staple in my selection for back days. I did this exercise throughout my entire career. Yates explained that he began using the hammer strength row machine on alternate weeks, and it became daily when Blood and Guts was filmed in 1996. Dorian Yates talks importance of cable rows. There are many ways to perform this exercise. Dorian Yates opted to use both narrow and neutral grips. It was a cool machine, the one we had in Temple Gym. It was chain-driven and right on the floor pretty much. I used both a narrow grip and shoulder-width grip with the elbows out over the years. Both felt great. Yates also used the seated cable row machine during his early days in California when asked to do photo shoots or guest appearances in the off-season. His back quickly became a spectacle in bodybuilding and even required more weight on the machine at times. I started to use the hammer strength row machine on alternate weeks, and in 1996 when Blood and Guts was filmed, it happened to be on the machine row day. From 1992 to 1997, Yates did not lose a competition and racked up 6 consecutive Olympia titles. Following his final victory on the biggest stage, Yates retired from bodybuilding after suffering different injuries. In retirement, Yates has maintained a shredded physique while sharing his exercises that I did during my career that wasn't in Blood and Guts, plus a funny story at the end as promised. Seated cable rows were another staple in my selection for back days. I did this exercise throughout my entire career, and it would have actually made the cut in Blood and Guts, but the reason it didn't was because from 1994 onwards, I started to use the hammer strength row machine on alternate weeks, and in 1996 when Blood and Guts was filmed, it happened to be on the machine row day. It was a cool machine, the one we had in Temple Gym. It was chain-driven and right on the floor pretty much. I used both a narrow grip and shoulder-width grip with the elbows out over the years. Both felt great. So what happened was, back in the early 90s when I first went out to the States, I was in California to do some photo shoots and guest appearances, etc. This was during my off-season, I remember. Now, I hadn't really trained in any of the gyms in America besides just some for photo shoots, but nothing near to the extent of how I trained back home. I found a gym in Orange County which was good, and I could train how I did back home. I'm in my off-season, probably at the peak of my strength levels that year, so I'm here going all out training back. After I finished one of my sessions, the manager asked me to come into their office. I was thinking, oh cool, I am becoming more popular here since the NOC etc., so they probably want to meet, chat, photos and maybe a t-shirt or so. As I walked into the office, laid there before me on the table were a whole bunch of weight pins that were all bent. Flushed face. I'd been putting 2 by 20 kilograms plates on the cable row stack, which was already 300 pounds because I needed more weight, face with tears of joy. So they talked to me about the pins etc., and I was thinking, look, I'm from the UK, perhaps you guys don't lift that much here. In the end I said, look, sorry, your machines don't have that much weight on and maybe you need to get some more weight. Well, I never went back there again. I explained it's a bodybuilding gym and I would have done the same at home if I needed to. This was back in the 90s, imagine how it'd be now.